This is the plaintiff, Tracy. She says the defendant's her son's ex-girlfriend, and the girl owes her money, which she now refuses to pay. This girl manipulated her son. She manipulated her into loaning her all this money. Now she must face justice and repay her the $3,370.92 she owes. This is the defendant, Amanda. She says she and the plaintiff's son were together for a few years, but he became abusive, both physically and verbally, and she had to get out of the situation by leaving him. The plaintiff told her not to worry about paying her back because she felt badly about what her son had put her through. Only reason the plaintiff's suing her now is because she's mad she had her son arrested for slamming her head into a pole. Bottom line, she owes the woman nothing. She's accused of not living up to her fiduciary responsibilities.
All parties, please use your right hand. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Tracy, you are suing Amanda, who used to date your son
She actually lived with him for about 2 years.
for 2 years,
Right.
for $3,370.92 that you say she owes you in various loans that you made her and has refused to repay.
Yes.
Okay. You are no longer dating the son, correct?
Correct.
What happened? How did you guys break up?
We were living together. I was paying for him to live with me. He had substance abuse issues. He became violent.
What was the substance of choice?
He was a recovering heroin addict.
Okay, go ahead.
So he became violent. I ended up leaving. I moved out.
When you say violent, can you be more specific?
There were times where items in my house were smashed. I had a printer smashed. I did leave. We tried to work things out. At one point, it didn't work. He came back to my house. After I had moved out, it was my own house. He came back. He smashed a hole in my windshield.
Was he violent towards you?
Yes. And
Tell me about that.
So when I was at my neighbor's house, he came up behind me, grabbed my hair, and bashed my head against the porch banister on my neighbor's porch.
Okay. Did you call the police that night?
Yes, he
Did
was
he get
arrested.
arrested?
Yes.
What's going on with the case? Do you know?
It's been continued a couple times.
And what's he charged with in the case? Do you know?
Criminal mischief and destruction of property, I believe.
What about your head? What?
Breach of
He's not charged with anything
I didn't
involving
go
your
to-
head.
No, I didn't go to the hospital.
No, but you don't have to go to a hospital. If somebody physically assaults you, you're still in. They could still charge a battery. What? They didn't charge a battery.
Right.
Did you tell the police
I
about
did.
that night?
Yes.
Okay. According to you, your son is dating her for 2 years, and during the course of that time, you see fit to loan her money. Were you loaning both of them money or just her money?
I was helping out with some of the things when my son would come to me and say that Amanda needed additional funds for whatever reason during the course of this 2 years.
What was your
And
son doing during those 2 years? She
He was
says he
looking
wasn't
for a
working.
job. He was looking
Pardon?
for a job. He was in a program. When they first met, he had just gotten out of rehab, and she invited him to live with her. And then he was looking for a job. She had a 5-year-old son who he was helping to get her son on the bus, off the bus, doing that kind of duty. And he was trying to pull his life together.
Okay.
So
you liked her when you met her?
I did.
You liked the fact that your son was trying to pull his life together?
Correct.
And you felt like he was acting more responsibly because she was around, so you wanted to encourage it?
I wanted to encourage
All
it.
right. Now, on the
So-
other, there's two specific amounts that you're suing for. You're suing
Yes.
for a credit card bill, and you're suing for?
Actually, it is two separate credit card bills.
Okay.
Right.
One of them is for $2,627.
Correct. That particular credit card, what she told me is she had been working with that credit card company, and she had a payoff amount. And she had called me, because prior to this, during their relationship, she had asked me for financial advice, because she said that at some point in the future, she might want to buy a house, and she didn't know how to go about doing it.
Okay, but how does
So-
this $2,627, it represents what?
It represents her credit card payoff for her first financial credit card bill. She
Okay.
contacted me and asked me if I would be willing to put it on my 0% credit card.
And you said yes.
And I said
And then
yes.
what was she supposed to pay?
She was supposed to pay me a lump sum for the 26-27.
When she got her
When
taxes.
she got her taxes.
That didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Was she and your son still together when she got her taxes?
No.
Okay, because
No.
by then she had called the police, they had broken up, et cetera, et
Well,
cetera.
by then, a couple weeks later, she called me again and asked me if I would be willing to do it again for her Discover card.
Okay,
which
now
was
at
not
this
allowed
time, when
her-
she calls you again and she owes you all this other money,
Right.
are your son and she still together?
Yes.
Well, I
and
would hope so.
things
All
were
right,
fine.
and then what happens?
So I questioned it, and I said, well, how are you going to pay me back? And I worked it out. I figured out if she could pay me $40 every 2 weeks, it would basically be paid by the time the taxes came due. So that one would be paid off, and the other one she could pay me
Okay.
a lump sum.
And she agrees to that?
And she agrees to that.
And for
And
how
the
many
first
weeks does
month-
she pay?
First month, she paid me the $40 every 2 weeks. The second, she never paid me in August, and I called.
And were your son and she still together?
In August, they were, but they had already started fighting again.
Okay.
In September, she paid me $10.
And is your son still
And-
living there in September?
In September, they had their big fight, and she moved out. In October, she paid me $40.
And then in November?
In November, she paid me $20. She had contacted me and asked me, she told me that when she moved out, she had a gold cross that she thought I might want back because it belonged to my mother. And I agreed to meet her. So we met. And when we met, she gave me the cross, and I thanked her for it. And I told her, I said, you know, I think you two got together too soon. You need to stand on your own 2 feet, both of you, and get your own lives straight. I said, but you borrowed this money from me. She kept saying, I will pay you back. I know what you did for me.
Did you ever tell her she didn't have to pay you back?
No.
What is your defense? Because in your answer to the complaint here is, yeah, I owed her the money, but I don't have to pay it because her son's a jerk.
No.
Okay.
Originally, yes, it was a verbal agreement that we came up with. And then in December, when I contacted her, I was not working. I had just moved out. Now, she forgets to mention that the reason why I moved out, I was paying the rent in that house that her son's still living in. But she said it would be easier for you guys to leave than for him to leave. So that's why me and my son were out, and I had to find another place to live. So in December, I had lost my job, which is why the payments were decreasing because I didn't have much money, but I was still trying to pay something. And then in December, when she contacted me, I told her, I do not have the money right now. I lost my job. I don't know what to do. And she had said, well, I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm not going to track you down for it. You obviously need the money more than I do. We'll leave it alone. And then I hadn't really talked to her since then. And then in July, when everything happened with her son and me, is when I got these papers because she was upset.
So what month and year does she tell you, let it ride?
December 2017.
And then in July of 2018,
Yes.
Did you go back with her son?
We were trying to work things out. That's when he came to my house.
And then
because
this
we were
big
arguing.
blow-up happened.
And then I got served papers the
So
same
did you
month.
pay anything between December and July?
No.
Okay, so your allegation is she told me to forget about it, and she's only suing me now because I got her son arrested.
Correct.
All right, so you filed the lawsuit after he's arrested.
Correct.
And where were you and what was your position on things between December, which was the last time you saw any money, and July?
Well, I had been looking into
Did you ever say
the
to her,
lawsuit.
you can't prove what was in your head.
Right.
I'm asking you, what'd you do? What did you do? Did you?
I waited until I had made the agreement with her that she would pay me back the lump sum at tax time. So I felt that I needed to wait at least until tax time.
And what
to
was
see if
tax
she
time in
came-
your head?
April.
Okay, so in April,
May.
did you call her?
April or May. No. What I told her when I saw her is you know you owe me the money. You're either going to pay me or you're not. I had already made up my mind I was going to research
So
getting
the
a
answer to my
lawsuit.
question is you did nothing between December and July. And what made you do something after July is your son got arrested. Why don't we just call it what it is? I have no problem with you calling it what it is. I just don't like the caginess.
July kind of worked out well, actually, because when I did the research on doing the small claims court, one of the stipulations was you had to know exactly where someone lived. When she moved out of when they lived together, she would not give her address. What she's not telling you about that day in July is she texted my son and lured him to her house under the premise that her next-door neighbor's boyfriend was hitting on her and she was scared to be alone. He was sitting watching a movie with my other son who was home from the Army.
Why would he come?
Well,
Why would he
because
go?
he's stupid. Because he's dumb. It was an idiot thing to do.
We can agree on
I
that.
asked him the
Okay,
same.
but you know what? I
asked him
got to
the
tell
same
you
thing.
something, too. How
He
old's your
went
son? Stop a second. How old-
28.
Okay, he's
It's
a big
about
boy.
time he-
and you
yeah.
need, yes, but part of it, and I know there always are children, believe me, I know it. And I know especially a scarred child who has, you know, a substance abuse issue, you will always feel very maternal towards him. But, you know, you said something in your complaint that just killed me, which was she pressed his buttons. You can't press buttons.
Unless,
Right? You know,
I know.
it's not, if in fact there was physical violence there, it's not her fault for pressing a button.
No, I
okay?
agree.
And he needs to own up to his errors, his mistakes, and pay for them. But that's not why I'm here.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, would you loan your son's girlfriend money?
No, not at all.
Why?
It's my son's girlfriend.
Right,
They're
but-
not even serious.
Well, no, suppose they're serious, but they're not like engaged or anything. Would you loan your son's?
No, not without a ring and a date, not a girlfriend. She'd disappear.
Well, but your son says she won't disappear.
You never know, though. People are young; they're going to break up. So I wouldn't. No.
I think that's smart, going inside the courtroom.
I'm here about this debt. And the bottom line is that you can't prove. Did you ever say to her, you don't have to pay me?
nope.
Okay. So you can't prove that. But even if you could and she changed her mind, she would have a right to. Because that's not a contract. Someone being kind to you and saying, you know what, you're not going to have to pay it back, isn't a contract. A contract is, put this on your card, I'm going to pay you back. So basically, I think what happened is you thought you weren't going to have to pay this back. And you think that you shouldn't have to because her son was a louse to you. And that's not a defense. So you have to pay it back. My verdict in this case is for the plaintiff and the full amount of what is remaining, which is $3,370.92.
Okay, you
Good
have a
luck,
great day.
folks.
Thank you so much.
So the plaintiff prevails, and Amanda does have to give the money back. What are you thinking, Amanda?
It's fine. She can keep enabling her son with it. Maybe she'll pay her rent longer.
she did. She lent you the money, you know? You don't
I
feel
never,
at all guilty?
I never, no, I do not. I never asked for the money. It was her idea, but I wasn't able to mention that in there because she didn't let me speak when I raised my hand.
What'd you want to
And
say?
I also, that I never asked for the money. She mentioned it to me. I never wanted to buy a house. That was something that she wanted me and her son to do. And that was a way to better our situation to make that happen.
But you didn't think you were going to have to pay it back ever?
I don't know. It's not in my hands. It was in the judge's, so it is what it is.
Well, sorry, but
Okay.
you do.
Have a good
Okay,
day. All
that's it. Okay, Tracy is on her way out of the courtroom, the plaintiff. You heard what she just said. Do you think, you know, you kind of gave her the money?
No, I did not give her the money. I helped her in other ways while they were together. This was something she asked me to do, and asked me actually specifically not to tell my son that she wanted to clear it up. And then she just broke up with him and figured she didn't have to pay it back. And I don't agree with that.
All right, you're right. And the judge agreed with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You must sign some documents. Harvey, that's it for this case. What do you think?
You know, we get this so much where, you know, people say, they were really mean to me, so I'm not going to pay them back. The way somebody treats you if they loaned you money has no bearing on whether you have to pay them back, because you do. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.